Hello, love. Welcome to the ChiLove Radio Show, Pop Radio Worldwide, iHeartRadio, and Spotify Premium. The ChiLove Radio Show is hosted by yours truly, Melanie Hogan, and is sponsored by ChiLove LLC. Today's topic will be Chicago violence. Let's take 3 deep breaths. We're going to inhale, hold for 3, and exhale. We'll do this 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Chicago police released new numbers showing a dramatic jump in homicide last month compared to last year. July saw a 139% jump in citywide murders compared to the same month last year. A total of 9 people were killed and 24 others were wounded in shootings across Chicago since 6 p.m. Friday, including a 9-year-old boy and a 17-year-old boy. Since Friday, CPD has made 66 gun arrests and recovered 96 guns as they continue to work to get illegal guns and violent offenders off the street. Several guns were seized while police were monitoring the gang member's funeral. So far this year, police say that they have recovered a total of 5,736 guns. Well, we're only in August. So it's like how many guns are out here on the street if they've already collected 5,000 and these murders are continuing to happen? As we stated in a previous show, Superintendent David Brown released some inmates from Cook County in an attempt to help to maintain their health and prevent them from catching the COVID-19 virus. So it is partially assumed that this increase in violence is because of the offenders who were released. Either they are, now they're supposed to be on a house arrest ban, but especially if you're from Chicago, you know that there are a variety of ways to get that band off. I know of some people who have put the band on their children, put their band on the dog, around the cat's neck, just because they know that that person or their animal would stay in the house and it would look like they are in the house while they are outside engaging in chaos. There are times when those who are on house arrest, they may be abiding by the house arrest guidelines, but they are having fellow gang members come to the house and they are giving orders for retaliation hits. We have so many Chiracians who just wake up and decide that they are now a part of a certain gang organization, or they develop their own faction of their organization. We've heard stories here in Chicago of vans pulling up in the middle of the night and dropping off weapons and guns and stuff for the youth to utilize. I know St. Sabina was a spot for people who would find those weapons to turn them in. Some have been turning them in, some have been keeping for personal usage. So let's get to the story of the 9-year-old who was killed in Cabrini Green. His name is Janari Andre Riggs. Hugs to his family, his friends, hugs to those who heard about this story and felt the weight and the pain behind it. This is not the first, second, third, fourth, fifth child that we have heard about being a victim of gun violence this year alone. So Lil Janari was in Cabrini Green, and they said that the shooter approached him and several other people outside and opened fire in their direction. You'll often hear me comment on the Chiracians' lack of aim. You know, I'm not an advocate for unnecessary violence, but I just feel like if this is something that you've made your mind up and you're willing to pay the consequences behind the action, the least you could do is hit the person, you know, your intended target. You becoming a killer off of not being able to correctly do the job. You hitting innocent people. Some type of organization and discipline, even in gang life, is necessitated. You got to have more of a strategy, more of a discipline. Create your own little gun ranges if you have to. Practice hitting your target. You know, that's ridiculous. Fortunately, because a lot of you don't hit your target, you know, some people got a chance to live to see another day, so that part is good. But my God, the people that you are hitting are innocent, have absolutely nothing to do with the reason you're out there shooting, and you're changing their lives and their families' lives and didn't even hit your intended target. So that is the least that you could do if you're going to be out here claiming to be some type of savage and killer. The least you can do is hit your target. So Lil Janari was playing, and he was struck multiple times, including in the chest. You ain't just hit that baby once. You made this baby's 9-year-old body engulf multiple bullets. One bullet is traumatic enough. This baby had to experience multiple bullets hitting his little body. Now they say the first responding officers performed CPR until the Chicago Fire Department arrived. So very good CPD for attempting to save this little boy's life and stepping in until the fire department arrived, where unfortunately he was taken to the hospital and still pronounced dead. The Chicago Police Department Superintendent David Brown expressed his condolences and assured the city that justice will be had. He has, went live, and he has been expressing his condolences. It's becoming a normalcy with him coming and standing in front of the pulpit and expressing his condolences and concerns about the violence here in the city. Community activist Andre Holmes had put out a reward for $4,000 for any information leading to the arrest of the killer of Janari. They said that the boy was not the intended target. So it's good that he was not the intended target, because we have had situations where children were the target, and people allowed themselves to vibrate low enough to consciously go and kill a child, such as Tyshawn Lee. That was a very traumatic incident here in Chicago, such as Lil Yummy. They put him a part of the life, and then his own people, took him out. It's a whole story behind that there. And unfortunately, we have people who consciously go out with a loaded gun with the intent to kill a child. You have to be careful engaging in this street life, because nobody is out of bounds. And sometimes, just to torture you as an op, the person won't even kill you. They know you love your baby. They know you love your mama. They know you close to your sister, close to your brother. They will torture you and take those that you do love and care about out of your life to run you crazy. I don't know if you all fully understand the ramifications of engaging in this lifestyle. And I used to think, well, you signed up for it, you knew overall what comes with this life. So why are you just, exploding and trying to go kill up the world? But even in these gang organizations, they form some sort of love for each other. Even though, getting into the gang, sometimes people have to take these violations where a group of people, jump on somebody really badly, or run a train on a female who's trying to come in, and they had a group of girls, beating her halfway to death before they let her in and welcome her in as the initiation to join their lifestyle. And it's because a lot of times these children do not have the proper nurturing at home. A lot of times the children are brought into their gang because it's a pattern of family history of the family being BDs and GDs and kings and so forth. So a lot of the children are actually born into this, and from a toddler are being raised up to engage in this manner, from a baby being told that this is your op for life. Part of our purpose here is to kill them. But it hurts on both sides when these bodies are dropped. Now, I got to give the city a ChiLove salute here, because we're talking about the tragedies of these children and these murders. And a lot of times there is no justice with everything that's been happening with like George Floyd and the police and everything that's been going on. There's a big distrust of police officers. A lot of people have been getting shot and still not cooperating with the police. But in this case, we now have justice for Janari Ricks. Daryl Johnson, age 39 goddamn years old. 39 years old, and your ass still out here gang banging. He has been charged in the murder of 9-year-old Janari Ricks. He was arrested Sunday after he was identified as the gunman. So somebody got that $4,000, because people been talking. And I know they say no snitching. Snitches get stitches. Especially here in Chicago, that's the law. But some rules are to be broken. we cannot continue to turn our head to these type of situations. So I'm proud of the people in Cabrini Green. I'm proud of the police officers who were associated with this case, who came together to get this evil off the street. I don't know what then happened to you, little Darnell Johnson, that brought your life to this point. Because see, a healthy minded person would not even be in this situation. So I'm assuming that this man didn't endure some type of trauma himself. Hurt people, and this is becoming a very vicious cycle. We always saying we need something new, but you're killing the kids who could have been the ones to present that something new. So Darnell was in Chatham when they called him. He was trying to get into his girlfriend's car, which was the same car that a witness saw him getting into at the shooting Janari. Now listen here. I say, did you want to get caught? Did you want to get caught? You really still moving around in the vehicle that you went to go do a hit in? Subconsciously, sir. Did you want to get caught? And then, how much love do you really have for your girlfriend to where now, couldn't they possibly make her an accomplice? If they could prove that she had some sort of knowledge of this and she utilized your car, even if she didn't know what you were originally going to do, did you talk to her afterwards? Did she give you them keys again and try to get away from the police? Does she have any children at home whose life gonna change because of your actions? I don't care how much you love somebody, honey. Don't allow Satan to ask you how much do you love me and then pull you down to hell with him. You understand? Your children are not gonna understand that. You love this man so much that you allow your family to be put at jeopardy. Ladies, loving and supporting your man is not just being a down ass bitch, okay? And riding for any and everything that he's saying. When you love somebody, you want the best for them. Now, at the end of the day, it is their decision as far as which moves they're going to make and how they're going to do it. But the least that you can do is at least try to get the person to look at both sides of it to try to weigh out, give them different options. Let's go over the pros and cons. Give them something else to think about the way out and see if they are really prepared to handle the consequences that's going to come behind this activity. Now, yes, I understand that sometimes certain moves just have to be made. In that case, then, it is what it is. But to just be out here frivolously shooting people and, over stuff that didn't necessarily require the consequence of death. You love him. You want him to come home. You all have created your own family. You don't need little man walking around with RIP with his daddy's face on his t-shirt. When you could have talked to him and maybe been that voice for him outside of the street. So being a good woman is not always just agreeing with the decisions that this man is making, and he might be becoming a liability to the family, becoming a liability to the goals that you all have set as partners. Sometimes you have to say, well, I need you to look at it from this standpoint. Do you have your bail money together? Is there a lawyer that you got on retainer? go over a little risk management plan to see so that he can really decide is this how he wants to move. Go over some other options. At the very least, if he just determined to do this, just try to put something else on his mind. Give him something else to look forward to try to avoid being in these situations like this. So because of these actions, Mr. Johnson will be charged with 1 count of first-degree murder, and he is currently held without bail. Police have credited neighbors in the Cabrini Green with helping to identify him. Superintendent David Brown said that this is the best example of a community coming forward. So ChiLove, salute to you all. When my uncle was telling me about how things were back in the day when the gangs and stuff was starting to take over certain blocks, certain neighborhoods, he said that the difference between them taking over one neighborhood over the other was the people in the neighborhood. Because in certain neighborhoods, they came together and banded as one. When they saw the first sight, first inkling of any type of trouble, everybody came out and everybody stood together. At least 2 witnesses identified Johnson as the man who shot Janari. A third witness saw him wobbling and skipping down the alley shortly before the shooting. Another reported seeing him limping away in the alley after the shooting. Lord have mercy, what did happen to you, Darnell Johnson? Your little self just wobbling and skipping, limping and shooting. They said that his limp came from himself being shot in his left leg years ago. So you didn't endure you some trauma. You part of the prey who became the predator. Somebody shot you, you went and shot somebody. Ain't no telling how many bodies you then took down or participated in taking down since then. Surveillance video from a nearby alley shows Johnson walking through an alley before the shooting. They said you was peering through a fence into the courtyard at the Cabrini row houses as if looking for someone and was caught on that same footage limping away from the scene. So you ain't just run up. Now the footage capturing you peeking through the fence, equipped with the gun already, it could be proven that this was a premeditated act. According to prosecutors, Johnson spent 4 years in prison for a 2005 conviction on carjacking and weapons charges. He served 2 years probation for a 2002 conviction for aggravated battery. A lot of these people who are coming up already have a background of engaging in this thug life, engaging in these low vibrational behaviors. And sometimes it starts out with just carrying a gun on you or carjacking or, the aggravated battery or whatever. And it escalates. It escalates. You come into contact with more and more people are recognizing you based off who you represent. You're developing more enemies for yourself. This is not a situation where anybody wins. And then to put some icing on the cake, the shooter nor his intended target were from Cabrini Green. Now they grew up there, but they no longer resided in that community. But what they did was take their dirt back to those grounds. And Cabrini Green has a history of heinous violence. Heinous violence. So it really became a hot spot. So I guess, since it go down there anyway, it has a history and pattern of, where the violence happens at. Instead of introducing it in a new place, they just went back home with it. But the people that live there now, they want peace. They want to feel safe. They want their kids to be able to go out and play. Now, Janari is the 5th child aged 10 or younger to be shot and killed in Chicago this year. One child is too many. This baby called his mama and got permission to go outside and play. He never came back in. He wasn't being disobedient or mischievous and sneaking outside. He called his mama. His mama apparently has been pouring into him to where he had enough discipline to call and ask for permission to go out and play. He had enough knowledge to know that his mom would be concerned about where he at, and even at 10 years old was wise enough to call and communicate. It's the summertime. These babies want to get outside and play. I don't know what type of guilt his mother may hold behind this because she gave the baby permission to go out and play. Even though she had absolutely no knowledge that that would be the last time that he would go out and play. Don't you understand that when a mother loses a child, there is like a lifetime void there. There is a sense of a part of yourself that is dead, and you still are living and don't want to. But you got other kids, you got whatever purpose you got here on the earth, whatever the situation may be, and they walking around with that forever pain because somebody couldn't hit their target, because somebody thought it was wise enough to resort to violence to deal with the situation. And most of you who are in gangs would kill for your own mama. Will bust down some doors to take off the head of somebody who made your mama cry. But you out here making other people's mamas cry. Janari LaSelf, they say everybody loves him. This is a great loss for everybody who came into the presence of this little boy. They say he was good at sports, he was good at math, he was on his way to the gifted program and headed to 4th grade. He was an honor roll student. So it seems as though, regardless of the environment that he was coming up in, his mother was pouring into him to be a productive citizen of society and not to become one with his environment, not to continue to engage in the practices that are taking away so many lives. So this baby outside, he playing. He hears the gunshot. He turns and he tries to run, which is logical. You want to try to get away. But they say his little body just collapsed as he was struck in the back and the right arm. I heard them bullets like really burn, really hurt. These bullets bring a grown man to tears. So how you think this baby felt feeling these bullets pierce through his body? The assistant state's attorney said that Johnson went hunting. I think there should be different levels of police. But there shall always be a Hank Voight in the district. Hank Voight would be perfect to send out for cases like these where we have people who are consciously going hunting, who have disconnected from their humanity to such a point. People who cannot be talked into de-escalation. Because as we've said before, some of these people ultimately want to die themselves. So they put themselves in situations where they may run into suicide by cop, homicide by op, anything to release them from their own torture. And getting them off the street, that is great. But what are we doing for them while they are incarcerated? Even the ones who are vicious, conscienceless, and guilty. How are we applying resources for their self-healing, resources for their conditioning? Because if they don't recondition and at some point get re-released into society, here we go with the continuous cycle of violence. Here we go with them taking that knowledge that they had, and a lot of times in jail you are networking with other criminals. So now they're giving you advice on how you could have maneuvered better to avoid coming up in there. You're getting connected to other aspects of, their underground life. So, jail is good for separating them from the rest of civilization who just want to live in peace, love, and elevation. But what are we doing for them in there? They're not animals, although they may exhibit animal traits by acting irrational. What are we doing to help to recondition and rehabilitate these people to re-enter society? Janari's family said that he dreamed of becoming a professional basketball player and nicknamed himself Young Curry. This baby had hopes and dreams for himself, aspirations, and they were taken from him unjustly. We are reporting on too many of these stories. Then we got Chirac just wilding out. So now we have a current case where the Chicago police warns officers of possible retaliation for killing of rapper FBG Duck on the Gold Coast. Now, the Gold Coast is not the hood. And, you got to understand that y'all be some little determined little people. You leave the hood. You catch them in traffic, on the expressway, it don't matter. The Gold Coast is supposed to represent some sort of safety. The energy there is even different than, like Inglewood or Chatham or, one of the hood areas, Madison and Pulaski. It's different. The energy is different. So the rapper, whose name was Carlton Weekly, was shot Tuesday on Oak Street. Wednesday, TT Mayor Lightfoot, seeking the public's help to catch the shooter, said, "Give no shelter to killers." The Chicago Police Department is warning officers to watch out for potential retaliation for the fatal shooting of rapper FBG Duck in the Gold Coast. Now, they said that 26-year-old rapper Duck was on social media antagonizing rival gang members before he was killed Tuesday afternoon, according to an officer's safety alert issued late Tuesday. His video, which made derogatory statements toward deceased members of the Black Disciples, is a possible motive for his fatal shooting in the heart of the luxury shopping district on Oak Street. Okay, so when I was coming up, it used to be the saying, "Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me." That's a lie. We obviously see that that's a lie. Bodies are dropping off of words every day. People are running up based off of what somebody posted about them or said about them every day. All this, I can say what I want. There's consequences to that. But at the same time, you too have to understand that beating a person or killing them is not going to change them from feeling how they feel about you. Sometimes you beat a fool and they still a fool. You can't let a person have that much power to where their words just affect your life to the point where you're willing to kill over it. Everybody can't give you your worth. Everything is not worth popping off over. But you have to understand, with a nation of people who were already told that they were worthless, ancestors were already conditioned and enslaved and Willie Lynch law assimilated to, it's triggering. It's triggering. And as we all have learned that trauma changes the functioning of the brain when it comes to these type of situations. And here they go with the fight or flight or freeze. In this case in Chicago, it's a lot of fighting. Ain't too many freezes. If they are taking off in flight, better believe they coming back. Know that. So here in Chicago, we're conditioned to the fight. The fight. And then also, the derogatory statements towards deceased members of the Black Disciples. Lord have mercy. I'm not even gang related, and I know you don't do that. People are hurt to the core when somebody that they love leaves them. It's a general expectancy that one does not speak ill of the dead, whether gang related or not. So when a person takes it upon themselves to speak ill of the dead, knowing how a group of people felt about this person, of course, that other side is going to take that as blatant disrespect. And it's a price to pay for that. So now, you finna die because of blatant disrespect. So many issues come down to how someone was treated. I don't understand. Chicago, the land of Chicago, carries a certain energy, love. It doesn't matter how peaceful you are, that Chicago energy is still in tune with your energy. And you got to understand that when it's time, when something triggered in somebody's brain, a switch then went off in somebody's head, that conditioning to fight, to retaliate, to make their point, to stand behind the principle, it comes into play. You know, Twister, the rapper Twister, you know, he had a thing where it's like, I'll murder me to murder you. You understand? And a lot of people have actually taken on that mindset. Even people who are not out here starting stuff. Just because a person not out here starting stuff, do not mean that they cannot be provoked to finish it. And when you get people to a certain point to where now their mentality is, I will murder me to murder you, we got problems. Because now somebody on the other side got that same mentality. And we going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Nobody is winning. These rival gang wars, especially between the GDs and the BDs, was going on before I was born. And we're continuing to condition these children to take over, to keep it going. Can we decide not to like each other and that be fine, agree to disagree and I go my way and you go your way? Can we do that? So now, all over the news, all over Facebook, there are people warning. I scroll past so many posts where people are putting the word out to keep your kids in, putting the word out, putting the locations of the shootings. They said that they had already started kicking it off. They shooting in broad daylight. They getting it. So now again, here go the kids or the youth who not affiliated with this mess, who just trying to go out and get some air, have a nice time. Now they being brought back in the house after having to endure the lockdown earlier from COVID. More than likely, we're going to go back into a lockdown when this winter time comes, so that, you know, a little bit of fresh air that they could get. After I saw some of the locations where they were shooting, I called my own son, like, I'm going to need you to Uber on back home. Because the way these guys out here shooting, But it's such a shame because you could be sitting in your house and still get shot. So if you're in the Wentworth, Grand Crossing, and Inglewood police districts on the south side, please be aware. We know that they walking up, they riding up in the cars, they riding up on the bikes. You know, apparently a lot of people rock with this man, and they want blood. Even though one body dropped, his body dropped, multiple bodies going to drop behind this here. So please just be aware. They say that Weekly is associated with the faction of the Gangster Disciples, the GDs, the street gang called Jarrow City, which is based near 62nd and Vernon in West Woodline. They say, but on social media, he identified himself as a member of a GD faction called STL/EBT, which is in the same area, mostly friendly with Jarrow City. So we're at a high level threat, people, with ongoing conflict between the GDs and the O Block faction of BDs. You can Google O Block in Chicago and catch up on the history that block has. Whew. It has been a lot going on O Block. You can Google that and find out more information. They operate in the Parkway Gardens near 63rd and King Drive. O.D. Perry, he is the reason why it's called O Block. He was shot to death in 2011, and the faction was dubbed O Block in his honor. There's something else that I've been noticing. When one of these little Chiracians get killed, their people will faction a certain area as his territory and would name that area after him. And that's like they little love for him, and they have like annual parties and celebrations and stuff for him, and keep them forever young because they got the t-shirts and, you know, just keeping their little memory and stuff alive. And it's like, you see these little Chiracians out here, and they some of them, you look into their eyes and it's like they soulless. Or they get out here and they act so tough, and then somebody die, and they crying like babies. They hurt too. And it's not even a point of, well, that's what y'all get because y'all involved in what y'all involved in. Everybody is hurting. It's not good to, you know, I guess people be hurt so to the point where they just want other people to feel their misery with them. But we have to just start to find better ways to deal with these type of situations. So when little O Block got killed, you know, it went up. FBG is getting killed. He was also affiliated with Flyboy Gang, which was a group of rappers. That's where FBG comes from. He had a hit single called Slide with more than 53 million YouTube views. They say in 2017, his brother Jermaine Robinson was a rapper who went by FBG Brick. He and his friend Stanley Mack were shot to death in Woodlawn in July 2017. If you didn't know, the group FBG, Flyboy Gang, is known for high-profile feuds with Chief Keef. They release these songs, so they shooting, they out here doing their thing, but a lot of them are communicating through music. You also have to understand the impact that this music is setting out here in this world, the type of energy that it's putting out here. People are standing in agreement when you singing along, you're rapping along to these lyrics. You standing in agreement and amplifying the vibration of death for these people. You ain't even got to be out there pulling the trigger. Just the fact that you vibing and have connected with the vibe of the killing song or the diss song is giving the energy for the manifestation of it to come. And, you know, if you're in Chicago, you definitely know who Lil Chief Keef is. You know, he finally rich. He don't love no thotties. He's always been very forthcoming in what he don't like. So these rappers are, and I want to tell y'all something. Do you want to, I'm going to ask you something. Do you want to get caught? Because you know that once the prosecutors get a hold to the cases, and they're going back and they're checking your social media, okay? And it is definitely being used against you. And if you're a little rapper, they're definitely listening in to your songs because a lot of you actually tell the stories of the streets, put the details in your song. And that's what helps you get slammed. Do you subconsciously, people, ask yourself that. Do you want to get caught? Are you hoping that you get caught and then somebody helps you from that point? Because are you serious? That is some savage stuff because it's irrational. A gangster don't move like that. That is irrational. You didn't gave the details. You didn't told which ops you was coming for them, but y'all talking about you not lacking. Somebody lacking because these bodies is dropping. What is we doing, LaSharakian? This whole thing has just continues to upset the city. TT Mayor Lightfoot, Lord have mercy. The things that's going on here, she got to stay in front of the camera. She said that she understands Weekly as an individual who fancies himself as a rapper, but also as a member of the game. So sometimes you have talent, but you're affiliated with a certain crew. So you trying to, keep one foot on this side, one foot on this side. At some point, y'all gonna have to choose, love. You're not gonna be able to do both, baby. Hell, she keep not even in Chicago no more. I will hope that you choose the path that's going to elevate you to actually help get you up out of this. I know they say these blood in, blood out, but it's like, come on. If you had the wherewithal to decide that you wanted to get involved in this, you have that same power to, I don't know, try to find some type of way out. Y'all need to be more understanding of these guys who come to you and saying, listen, I don't want to live my life like this no more. People having kids, their eyes are opening up. They don't want to be affiliated with this no more. You cannot just force them. How you say you love them and you going to force them? You going to snatch them down the hill with you, right? But you love them though, right? Y'all family? Nah. She said, what we're seeing is a manifestation of a larger problem, which is that way too many young men, particularly young men of color, have access to guns and are willing to use those guns to settle petty grievances. We must step up and do the right thing, calling for the public to provide the police with information about the shooters. People who are involved in these shootings are not strangers. They are known in the community. They are known on the block. Titi said, give no shelter to killers. And I know you probably, scared to get involved because they might kill you. They didn't already proven that they willing to take somebody's life. So you're not trying to really get involved to get your life taken or somebody connected with your family taken because you put some information out there. But it's like you have to be brave. You have to be courageous. Police, stop telling everybody where y'all getting y'all sources from. That's just like with Legendary. Y'all told that it was the residents in Cabrini Green who participated with you in finding Darnell Johnson, the real Johnson. That causes certain residents to fall back. As long as the information and the leads that you receive are valid, this just contributed to the people of Chicago. That could be anywhere. Somebody could have rolled past and, saw some things. Don't tell the exact spot that the witnesses were in. Like, OMG, this man is gang related. They want to make sure ain't no witnesses showing up to court. People do that type of stuff, okay? So we gotta do better on both sides. Goodness gracious. So these little people just pulled up and, dropped his little body. And one of the witnesses on the news said that when they got out, it was not a pause in shooting. Like, they aired it out. They aired it out. They came not to wound this man, but to take his life. They came to make him an example of what energy not to throw their way. People feel like you call me out, I'm going to give you what you want. You want some smoke? They're going to bring all the smoke. If you are willing to lose your life over this, that is your choice. Please go to some isolated area and y'all decide to meet up there in, where you're not disturbing neighbors and residents. They got a whole bunch of little open spots, being in factories, little BIDOC areas where it's not a lot of people around, where y'all could just shoot each other without interruption, shoot until nobody is standing. If that's what y'all gonna make up y'all man to do. But stop involving these innocent people who don't want to have nothing to do with it. My heart goes out to the innocent people. My heart goes out to the Chiracians who've been conditioned in this manner. My heart goes out to CPD, those who actually want a change here and are getting up day by day, having to witness these bodies and all this blood and brain spattered everywhere, and having to still maintain their own emotion and, get the job done. This is a team effort here. This is really disheartening. But I am proud of those who are stepping up within their own communities, within their own niches, and are actively participating or initiating some type of positive movement in that area. ChiLove salute to those who are brave enough to take a stand for something that matters. We here at the ChiLove Radio Show, Pop Radio Worldwide, iHeartRadio, and Spotify Premium, we are concerned about the well-being of Chicago. We are concerned about the residents here in Chicago, regardless of what side you're from, regardless of your race, regardless of your status. We all live here, either born or raised, or, transported here from somewhere else. And we have to learn how to share this space. We need to be more mindful of how we're treating people. We need to be more mindful of the things that we are coming out of our mouth with. What is so great about being a toughest MFer when you the deadest MFer? Tough shouldn't even be a goal. Being able to handle your business if you're presented with an issue, that's one thing. But to be out here and to be a bully and to be targeting people and to be just starting stuff with people. Do you not understand that that's why these bodies are dropping? Because of how we as a people are treating each other? But we want it to stop. We want to change. So let's all start to change with the way that we treat each other, okay? Something as simple as the golden rule of treating others as you would want to be treated. A lot of people talk to people in a manner that they would not dare accept from somebody else. A lot of people treat people in a manner that they would not dare accept from somebody else. But something in you, for whatever reason, makes you feel like it is okay for you to treat people any type of way, and then you don't even expect for the person to take a stand for themselves. And if they do try to take a stand for themselves, you crushing them, right? Until you done underestimated your opponent and you find out you the one getting crushed. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. So as usual, we have some resources, some numbers that you all can call. Because these type of situations, your stress level, anxiety level, depression level, all of that starts to go up. That fear causes that. If you don't want to talk about it, you can text 741-741 for that stress, anxiety, and depression. If you need some counseling, you can go call 1-773-365-7277. Reach out, people. Y'all know that y'all want to change. Even some of y'all Chiracians, I know y'all tired of burying each other. Y'all are still so young, and y'all done hear more people die than I have in whole lifetime. And y'all not even 20 yet. I know y'all tired of this. Y'all got some ideas on how we can make this better, how we can communicate to these youth. Not even the youth, since we got a 39-year-old Chiracian who hitting a child. We need to come together to try to figure out how we can make some type of peace, some type of strategies that we could use. I know for certain we need more healing and more reconditioning. We here at the ChiLove radio show, Pop Radio Worldwide, iHeartRadio, and Spotify Premium will continue to heal and recondition ourselves, and we hope you will join us. Until next time, love.